Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel SK Tech. In today's video, we are going to see Lambda expression example. So this is the subsequent video of the previous video where we have seen couple of the example, and in this video also we are going to perform the operations on the collections. So here we are going to perform the operation like ArrayList, HashSet and HashMap, and also we are going to see some key point about the Lambda expression. So let's begin. Let's go to the IntelliJ IDE. So for simplicity, I have already created one Lambda example class and one main method. So inside that, we are going to first create the array list, and we are going to see how we can perform the operation on the array list using the forEach method with the Lambda expression. Okay, so let's create one simple array list. So let's say we can create like list of type, let's say string courses. So let's try to import this one. And here we are going to use utility like arrays.asList, and using that we are going to insert multiple value. So let's say we have a value like C, C++, Java, Spring, Hibernate. Okay, now let's see how we can perform the operation, or you can say how we can iterate this list using the Lambda expression. And also we are going to see some couple of the example with the stream API. So what is stream? So stream is nothing but, stream is one of the feature provided by the Java 8. Java stream represent a pipeline through which data will flow and the function to operate on the data. So a pipeline in this instance consists of a stream source followed by the zero or more intermediate operation and a terminal operation. So basically stream is like Java is going to provide lots of the method using the stream functionality, where one function will be transferred to the another function. That's why it is called as a stream. Okay, so we are going to see some example using the stream API, and we are also going to discuss in detail as part of the stream discussion. So let's see what are the operations that we are going to perform. So first we are going to perform like Java 8 streaming example Lambda expression, because Lambda expression also going to use as part of the streaming concept. So that is also we are going to see, and also we are going to see like how to perform the iteration using the Lambda directly using the forEach method. Okay, so let's try to write some comments like what are the operations that we are going to provide. So Java 8 stream example method reference, there is a concept called method reference, that is also one of the feature provided by the Java 8. Okay, so that is also we are going to see here. And next we are going to see like Java 8 forEach with Lambda, and fourth operation that we are going to see is like Java 8 forEach. So these are some of the scenario that we are going to perform. Basically we are going to use the forEach method only to iterate the list, or you can say array list. Okay, so let's go one by one. So before that, let's try to create one common method. The same common method is going to be used for all of this example. So let's say we have some common method called to print course. Okay, so this method, what it is going to do, it is going to take one argument, and same argument it is going to print in the console just for the demonstration purpose. So let's try to create one private method like private. So what we can do, this method we can create outside of the main method, and we are going to make as a static. So no need to create the object of the class and to use it. So we are going to create like private static void print course. Okay, and here we are going to write one state argument like string type, because we are storing object as a string type. Okay, let's say we are saying like course. And what is the functionality of this method? Simply it is going to print this course. Okay, so let's say we have written like course name, okay, and course. So this is the simple functionality that is going to be provided by this method, and we have written common because the same method we are going to use with the each of this example. So let's see how we can iterate this array list using the stream API. So basically there is a method called stream. Using that we will be able to convert any of the array list or any of the array or any of the collection into the stream, and from that onward we can use the stream API methods to perform any of the operation like filtering, like iterating for each element using the forEach. So for now we are going to use forEach, and for all the detailed method we are going to see separately in upcoming video as part of the stream discussion. So what we need to do to convert this course as a stream? So there is a method called stream. Yeah, so this method is going to convert this course list basically as a stream, and then we can use this stream function. So there is a method called forEach method provided by the stream. Basically it is expecting one consumer. So consumer is nothing but it's a functional interface. So we know that if there is a functional interface, we can provide the implementation using the Lambda expression. So let's see how we can provide the implementation. So it's very simple. We need to write the forEach, and here we need to provide one argument, because if you can see here this method, so this method is required one argument. So we need to provide the argument, then arrow, and then what we need to provide, the functionality of the Lambda expression. So let's say we are going to call this function only. Okay, in a simple syntax of the Lambda expression, what was the syntax? We need to provide these braces inside this any of the argument, then arrow, and here we need to provide the curly braces, right? And inside the curly braces we need to provide the implementation of the Lambda, right? So let's say inside the curly braces, or you can say Lambda body, we are going to call this method. So since this is a static method, we can call directly this method, and we know that there is a object called this course. The same variable can be used inside the Lambda method. So let's say we are going to use this variable and going to pass as part of the argument, right? So this is how we can call it. Okay, but you can see that since this is a one argument only, so we can remove this braces also, right? That's what we have seen, that because in case of the one argument, this braces can be optional. So we can write something like this also, and even since we have only one statement, even if we are calling the function, but here inside the body it can be considered as a one statement. So in case of one statement, this curly braces also can be optional, right? So how simple it is. Using the stream API, using the forEach, we are able to write the Lambda expression to call this method. We will see more in detail as part of the stream discussion. Just for the understanding, we have seen like how to convert the list or any types of the collection into the stream, like using the stream method, and then we can use the forEach method provided by the stream, and also it is provided by the Lambda expression. We will see how we can do that. And inside the forEach, it is expecting some consumer. So consumer is nothing but it is also a functional interface. Okay, so since it is a functional interface, so those implementation can be provided by the Lambda. So what is the syntax of the Lambda that we have already seen? Using that, we can write the code like this. Okay, so this is the one example. Another example that we wanted to perform like Java stream example with the method reference. So what is the method reference? So let's say inside the class, if we have a method, and instead of creating the object of the class, we can directly call using the method reference. So what is the syntax for the method reference? So basically that should be the class name, like how we are calling any static method. Similar to that, we can call using the class name, then double colon, and then here we need to provide this method name. Okay, and even this Lambda expression also does not require. So this is how Java stream example with the method reference will work. So if you see that this method or this expression can be simplified using the method reference by this. We can use the method class name, double colon, and then method name. So what it is going to do, automatically it is going to create one variable, and that variable is going to return each of the items available inside the list. And also using the print course method, it is going to pass those variable, and what are the functionality written it here, it is going to print. So let's run this program and see the output first. What is the output that is giving? Yeah, so you can see that this first list of the item basically provided by this one. Okay, and this set of the output is given by this one. So this is using the stream API. Now let's see forEach method provided by the Lambda also on any types of the collection. So how we can use it? So it is very simple. We need to use this object, then directly we can use the forEach method, and you can see that inside the forEach again it is expecting one consumer type. So consumer type is type of the functional interface which have exactly one method. We will see what is those method, and using the Lambda expression we can provide the implementation. So same implementation like this we can provide it here also. So what we are doing, we are, since this consumer method having one argument method, and inside that lambda body we are providing the implementation. So what implementation we are providing, we are calling this method, and what are the variable that we have created, that variable only we are passing it. So it is going to return each element available inside the array list one by one, and it is going to call this print course method, and what are the statement that we have written it here, it is going to print it something like this. So if you run this program, it is going to print another set of the output using this forEach method. So you can see here, this is the first set, this is the second set, and this is the third set. Now let's see how we can use the method reference inside the forEach directly without creating the stream API, because any collection have this method forEach also, that is also provided as part of the Java 8 only. So let's see how we can do that. So similar to this, we can even call this forEach method without creating the stream, and this is only possible if this course, or you can say if this object is of type collection. So like any array or any set of collection or any list of collection, okay, in those kinds of scenario only we can use it. So let's run this program and see the output. So you can see that this is another set of the output provided by this one. So these are some couple of the way where we can iterate the any array list using the lambda expression, using the stream API lambda expression, using the stream API with the method reference, using the lambda expression with the method reference. Okay. Now next operation that we want to perform is like iterate HashSet with the forEach method plus lambda expression. That's what we have listed down here, right? So these are the example that we have already seen. This example we have just seen now. Now we are going to perform the iterate HashSet with forEach method with the lambda expression. So basically we are going to create another collection using the HashSet, and we are going to perform all these operation again. So now let's see how the same operation can be performed using the HashSet object. Okay. So what we can do, let's try to copy paste this one, because same common method we are going to use for the HashSet also. So instead of creating the list, let's try to create the set. So set of string, and here instead of array list, what we can use, so we can create like let's say we can give a different name. What we can give, like let's say course set. Okay. And instead of using the array list, what we can do, we can use some different value. So let's say we are going to create like new HashSet, and inside the HashSet we are going to add some list of the element. So let's give the name, or let's try to import it. Yeah. So using this course set we can perform additional operation. So let's say we are inserting like C, I mean same value only, course set. Let's copy paste this one only. Let's give the different name like C++, Java, Python, AWS. Okay. And for simplicity, let's try to add some statement here to differentiate it. Let's give some statement like this. Now we have course set. So using the HashSet also we can perform the same operation. So let's try to change this variable name only here. So same variable name can be used and same functionality can be used. Now let's try to run this program and see the output. So if you can see here, we have separated it out and we have used the HashSet now, and using that on HashSet also we are able to iterate, or you can say we are able to perform all this operation. So first operation that we have performed like using the stream API forEach method along with that lambda expression, then Java 8 for forEach with the lambda expression, this one, and this one we have performed like Java 8 stream example with the method reference, and this one simply forEach method, and also we are using the method reference. Okay. So this is how we can perform the operation on the HashSet and array list, right? Now next example that we are going to perform is like we are going to iterate the HashMap with forEach method plus lambda expression. Now let's say we have seen like how to iterate the array list or HashSet. Now let's say we have a map. So in the map kinds of scenario, how we can use the stream API, or you can say Lambda expression along with the stream API, and also we can see like stream API with the Lambda expression only. So for this example, let's try to add some simple statement here again, just to separate it out. So let's write like sysout, and again let's say we have separated like using this only. Okay, it can be anything, just for the separation purpose I've written here like. Now let's create the map object. So how to create the map object? We know that it can be key and value. So let's give integer as a key and value as a string. It can be anything, just for the demonstration purpose. And we are going to write like course map equal to new hash map. Now let's try to add it some course of the now let's try to add some courses. So using this variable only we can add it. So what is the method? The method is put. So here we need to provide the integer as a key and value as a string. So let's say we are going to provide like 1 as a C. Let's copy paste this multiple times and change the value. Okay, so let's give the name as let's give the key like 2 3 4 5, just 5 element enough. Here we can give C++, Java, J2EE, and let's say we are going to give as a Scala. Okay, so similar to this forEach method, we have provided the Lambda expression, right? Now let's see how we can use the stream API only, and we can iterate this map. So since inside the list, or you can say inside the hash set, it was having direct value, but in case of the map it will contain key and value. So how we can iterate using the stream API? So what we need to do, first we need to use this object to convert the stream, since this is also a type of collection. So using the stream we can convert it. So there is a different way. Basically it is not able to convert because it can contain key and value. So it is not able to identify how to create this stream, either set of the key or set of the value. So we have a method called entry set or values, right? So those methods also we can use it. Let's try to use the entry set. So basically what it is going to do, it is going to create the stream of the entry. So here what are the entry we have written, like let's say entry, and since entry is a string type, integer type, right? But this method is expecting string type, so this method is not compatible. So let's try to create another common method for this map. So let's say we have a method like private void static void and print map course, and here since this is a map, so it is required like key and value. So let's say what are the key and value that we have given, integer and string, right? So same thing we can give it here. So let's give the name also like number, or you can say key, and here we can give value. And inside the implementation of this method we can simply use this sysout statement only. Let's say we are just printing it. So what we can give here, we can give like course name, or you can say course key, what are the key, plus here we can give space, or you can say you can give a like comma, plus let's say we are going to give as a value and append the value. So now let's use this method here only. So since here we are iterating like entry only, so we can create another common utility method to demonstrate this one, and we can use this method to demonstrate how to print the key and value, right? So let's like here like integer, and same method we can use it. So this you can see here, it is kinds of a overloaded method, right? So let's use this one. So what it is saying, it is not able to identify which method we need to call, because this is also this is also an object type, this is also an object type. So here basically it is expecting some integer type. So what we can do, we can give a different name also here, like course key, and same method we can use it here. So this is be let's say entry, an entry. So what it is doing, it is coming here and it is printing this one, right? So what it is saying, required type is integer but provided as a entry. Okay, so since this is returning as an entry, so here we need to get the key from each entry. We know that we have a method called get key, right? Now it is going to work. So let's run this program and see the output. So this is the one way. So what here if you see, we are able to either iterate the entry set, or we can use the another value one also to iterate the value. But now let's say we want to print both key and value. So how we can use it? Using the forEach method along with the lambda expression. So similar to that, what we can do, we can use this object. Since this is a collection, so again inside the collection there will be a method called forEach. Okay, and inside that we can provide the lambda expression. So now we have seen this list, right? This map contains key and value. So basically it is having two value. So like how it was having one value, so we are providing the variable name and then braces was optional, but now it is having two value. So in those kinds of scenario, those braces will be mandatory, and here we can provide like two variables. So one can be key, one can be value. So it could be anything. Java is going to identify at the runtime what are the type of the key and what are the type of the value. So this is how we can provide like key and value, and then we can add arrow as a lambda expression syntax. And here let's say we are going to use this method, because this method we have written to accept the key and value and print it, right? Now let's use this method and pass this key and value, and that's it. You can see here we are not providing any key type and value type. Java is automatically going to identify based on the implementation, you can say, provided here. So this is kinds of the consumer. So what is the consumer? Consumer means there will be one method which have some argument type as an input but does not return any type. That's why it is called as consumer. And this method, what are the method that we have created? This is also kinds of a consumer of a custom type. We have created this method to accept some key and value but does not return anything. We are printing the operation here only, right? We will see how the consumer method is look like. Now let's run this program and see the output first. So see here, it is printing key and value for each of the element available inside the map. So this is the one way of using the forEach method. Another way is like the method reference. That's what we have seen in this example also, right? Now let's try to demonstrate it here also in case of the map, how we can use this method using the method reference. So we need to use this object, then forEach method, and here we need to provide the method reference instead of key and value, or you can say instead of lambda expression we can provide the method reference also. So what is the class name? So class name is this one only, lambda expression demo1 : and we need to provide the method name. So in case of method name, we no need to provide the key and value also. Based on the definition of this method, it is going to identify at runtime so what are the types of the key. So this forEach method, what it is going to do, it is going to return each entry set which contain key and value, and those key and value automatically going to pass this method. So since this method also contain key and value, so we are able to use it here as a method reference. We cannot use this print course as a method reference in case of the map, because this forEach method is going to return each entry set which contain key and value, but this method does not accept any key and value. It contain only one, but this method is required to accept like key and value. So we are able to use this as a method reference. Now let's run this program and see the output. Yeah, so you can see that using the method reference also we are able to iterate it, this map, and we are able to print both key and value. So these are some of the examples that we wanted to demonstrate in today's video. Now let's see some key point about the lambda expression, and before that we have seen like this forEach method contain consumer, right? Now let's go inside this and see the what is the consumer. So this is kinds of a bike type consumer. There are different types of the consumer. Basically we will see in detail as part of the functional interface, because this is kinds of a functional interface. So if you see the definition, it is required one method called accept which is having 2 argument, because this is a by consumer, means 2 argument, but does not return anything. And same types of the method implementation we have also written here, accepting 2 argument but does not return anything. So this method also can be used as part of the lambda expression, or you can say method reference. Okay, now let's go to the slide and let's try to demonstrate some key point about the lambda expression. So what are the key point? The first key point is like syntax simplicity. So we have seen, right, how simpler is the syntax of lambda expression. The syntax of the lambda expression is much more concise than using the anonymous inner class. We have seen the differences also, right? Next key point is like functional interface. So in case of the lambda expression, what is the roles of the functional interface? So basically they are used primarily to define the implementation of the abstract method defined inside the functional interface. So an interface which contain exactly one abstract method is called functional, and lambda expression is the implementation of the functional interface. Next key point is like parameters and body. So we have seen different types of the parameter, right? 0 parameter, 1 parameter, single parameter, multiple parameter. And we have also seen when the braces was mandatory and when the braces was optional. And in case of the body, we know that there is a token called arrow which is used to differentiate between the parameter and body. And again, body can contain the multiple statement or single statement. In case of the single statement, the curly braces was optional. Next key point is like type reference. So Java's type reference mechanism can often determine the type of the parameter, allowing you to skip declaring them. Basically we know that, right, inside the parameter we no need to provide the type of the variable. It is going to automatically define, or you can say determine at the time of runtime based on the definition provided inside the lambda expression. Next key point is like return type. So again, return type, if the body of the lambda expression consists of a single expression, and return type can be detected at runtime automatically by the compiler based on the definition provided inside the abstract method of the functional interface. So in those kinds of scenario, let's say we have a single statement and one single statement with the return statement, then that kinds of scenario return keyword can be optional. That is also we have seen as part of the example. Next key point is like no access modifier. So lambda expression do not have any access modifier or any throws clause. We have not seen it. Well, we'll see how it is. Next key point is like local variable access. So inside the lambda expression, it is important to note down that we cannot use any local variable. What are the local variable that we can use inside the lambda expression? That can be either a final variable or a effective final variable. Effective final variable means the variable which is defined and declared with some value does not change or does not modify with the any of the statement. That is called effective final. So similar to the final variable only. So inside the lambda expression, we can either use the final variable or effective final variable. Next key point is like parallel execution support. They can be used to facilitate the parallel execution like stream. So we have already seen like how we can use the lambda expression inside the stream function also. We will see in detail as part of the stream discussion. Next key point is like enhanced iteration. So enhanced iteration is what? Enhanced iteration is nothing but the forEach method. So they can be used with the new iteration method provided by the iterable interface to make the iterator over a collection more concise. We have seen how we can use the lambda expression using the forEach also, right? Next key point is like functional programming paradigm. So what do you mean by functional programming? So basically lambda expression allow, or you can say enable the Java to implement the program in a functional way. So instead of writing the classes for one single abstract method, I need to provide the implementation, or to use that need to create the object and call the method. Instead of that, in one liner only, we will be able to provide the implementation using the lambda expression and we can use it. We have seen multiple example also, right? Next important point is like immutable. So the variable used inside the lambda expression must be final or effective final. That's what we have seen. making them immutable. Basically, immutable means the variable is defined, does not going to change. So final variable is similar to the immutable only. So inside the lambda expression we can use either the final or effective final, and because of that those variable is going to become as a immutable. Next key point is like interoperability with the SAM interface. So lambda expression can be used wherever a single abstract method interface is expected. That's what we have seen. If we have an interface which have exactly one abstract method, single abstract method, that is nothing but the SAM, in those kinds of scenario the lambda expression can be used. If the interface contain multiple abstract method, then those interface cannot be called as a functional interface, and that cannot be implemented using the lambda expression. Next key point is like target typing. What is target typing? Target type of a lambda expression is determined by its context in which the lambda expression is used. That's what we have seen based on the example also, right? Next key point is like performance. So how the performance of the lambda expression. So lambda expressions are often more performant than anonymous in a class, since they are not compiled like a separate class. So we have seen in case of the anonymous class, we need to provide the class definition and all the method references, right? But in case of the lambda expression, we no need to provide any information. All those information will be going to detect by the compiler what are the definition that we have provided inside the functional interface. So as compared to the anonymous inner class, lambda expression is going to be more fast. Next important key point about the lambda expression is like functional method reference. So they can be used in a combination with the method reference to further simplify the code where a method already exists to perform an operation. That's what we have seen. So instead of the lambda expression, in some kinds of scenario, we can replace the method references also. That's what with the help of this also we have seen. So here we are writing some lambda expression. If we have a method that is already exists inside the same class, or you can say inside any of the class, so instead of using the lambda expression, this expression can be simplified using the method reference also. And last but not least, no reference this method. No this reference. Inside a lambda expression, this keyword refer to the enclosing instances, not the lambda itself. Let's say if we are using this keyword inside the lambda expression, so it does not mean that this is going to refer inside the lambda expression. It means this is not going to be refer as a lambda itself. It is still going to refer the current instance of the class. So these are some key points that we wanted to discuss in today's video. In next upcoming video, we are going to discuss functional interface in detail. We have already seen what is the functional interface in a high level. We are going to see what are the functionality and what are the things can be come under the functional interface in next upcoming video. So stay tuned. We'll meet you soon. Thank you.